What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the A24 Archive. This is the segment on my channel where I go back through A24's entire filmography from the first film they released all the way to whenever I get current. And I've not done an A24 Archive episode in a while, and that was mostly because I focused the month of October solely on horror films, and so I kind of put a pause on it right before in September, but I wanted to jump back in and watch some A24 films this month because I've had a lot of fun doing this series. And what's fun for me is watching a lot of films that I never feel like I would have watched otherwise if it wasn't for this segment and making sure to watch every film A24's put out. And the one I watched today has a phenomenal cast. I'd honestly never heard of it before until I read about it when I was looking through A24's entire catalog. And like I said, stacked cast. Was really looking forward to checking this film out. And the movie I'm going to be talking about today is Trespass Against Us. Trespass Against Us is directed by Adam Smith. 3 generations of the rowdy Cutler family live as outlaws in some of Britain's richest countryside, hunting hares, ram-raiding stately homes, and taunting the police, struggling to retain a way of life fast becoming extinct. Chad Cutler ends up cut between his father's archaic principles and trying to do right by his kids, whilst the full force of the law is finally catching up with him. So I didn't know anything about this movie other than looking it up. I saw Michael Fassbender and Brendan Gleeson were in it, who are both phenomenal actors, and the director of this film hadn't made a whole lot. I think he's got a couple of films under his belt, but really nothing to compare it to, so I was just kind of going into this with fresh eyes, knowing that A24 produced it. Unfortunately, the beginning of the film showed that DirecTV title card, which a lot of the films, if you've been watching my entire A24 archive series, you are aware that A24, when they have worked with DirecTV, have put out some stinkers, especially earlier in their career. And so I was excited to watch this, a little hesitant when I saw that logo at the beginning of the film, and I thought this movie was fine. I don't think it's anything spectacular. It's really not reinventing the wheel by any means. I think what this film does is it builds up really great characters and an interesting premise, but doesn't do a whole lot with it, which was unfortunate, but I'll break it down a little bit more when I talk about the film as a whole. So our lead character, Chad, is played by Michael Fassbender, and he lives in this, it essentially looks like a trailer park, but the only people that live there are his family, and he lives there with his wife and his children, and some people in this crew that is run by his dad, played by Brendan Gleeson, and all they do for a living is they go around and rob places, they commit these crimes, and most of them are uneducated and they can't read, but it seems like Michael Fassbender's character is really focused on making sure that his children get the life that he didn't get. They make them go to school, they make them try to clean up their act a little bit more than the people that they live with, and you can tell Brendan Gleeson's character is worrisome that because Michael Fassbender's character wants to get his kid's life on the right track, that means he's going to abandon the lifestyle that he's always known. And so a lot of the film is an exploration of this relationship between father and son, and then questioning this lifestyle that they've lived for a long time. Most of the film is Brendan Gleeson's character interfering with Michael Fassbender and his wife, trying to get their kids out of this lifestyle and trying to do something new for them so that they don't fall prey to what everyone else who gets involved in this lifestyle does. You know, this film was interesting because I liked the tone of it initially. It had kind of like a darkly comedic tone where there were moments that were really funny. Obviously, these characters are getting involved in situations where they're breaking the law. Some of them are really ridiculous. Some of them are very grounded and dramatic. And I thought the balance of that early on in the film was really great. I think all the performances in this are fantastic. Brendan Gleeson over time has just become one of my favorite actors. I think he's absolutely incredible in everything that he shows up in, and this film is no exception. He is truly commanding of every scene that he's in. Michael Fassbender is another actor who I always enjoy watching. Think he's incredibly talented. So there was a lot going for it, especially early on in the film. The problem that I have is the scenes in this movie. It's about an hour and a half hour and 35 minutes, the scenes in this film start to feel so recycled after a while. You just feel like you are watching the same set of sequences over and over and over again, to where it gets very bland, unfortunately. And it started to get upsetting, because even the dialogue that was conveyed from these characters, it just felt so similar scene after scene after scene. And it was like, you can't get the kids out of this lifestyle, let them be kids, you've lived this life your whole life. And it's just, we get the picture. Add something new into it. Spice it up a little bit. We don't need the same recycled scenes. You understand the relationship dynamic very early on. And if you want to reiterate your point once, that's fine. But I just felt like I was getting the same set of sequences over and over again. The middle portion of the film, there's a couple of moments that are really impactful, but it's not enough to really resonate with you for a long period of time. And when you have this thing where this parent is trying to take care of their kids while also abandoning this lifestyle that they've been living for so long, but still taking part in that lifestyle, it's a really interesting idea that I just felt like was so sloppily executed. And then there's this idea that all the speeches and stuff that Brendan Gleeson gives are very rooted in religion, and he's like very much on the Jesus train, but at the same time they're like breaking all the biblical codes. So that's an interesting element of the film, but it's not ever really examined in a way that makes it pay off by the third act of the movie. And the third act of this film is incredibly underwhelming. I just felt like the director was like, hey, we got to get this from point A to point B. Let's just wrap it up and finish it. And it's unfortunate because, as I said, there's so many moments in this movie that were really fun to watch, that I really enjoyed. I really liked the dynamics of the characters. I really thought there was a lot of good things going for it. There's so much filler and so much pointless dialogue that I can't really like recommend you go run and watch this movie, because I don't think you're going to get a whole lot out of it. And there's a ton in A24's catalog that I've enjoyed way more than this film. And so that was a letdown. Like I said, if you want two great performances from two solid actors, you'll get that in this movie, but you probably won't get much else. So have you seen Trespass Against Us? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was not great. It's not horrible by any means, but there's not really anything all that special to hold your attention for an elongated period of time. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.